Hello, thank you for joining me today. My name is Aaron Williams. I'm the Tobacco Program Coordinator at the Southern Plains Tribal Health Board. Today I'd like to take a little bit of time to talk to you about traditional tobacco, commercial tobacco, and vaping. Traditional tobacco is one of the four sacred plants used in prayer, purification, and cleansing. The other plants are sage, cedar, and sweetgrass. Tobacco is used for prayer, like I said. Sage is used for healing, and cedar is used for blessing. People often use cedar to bless a new building or a home or a new apartment they're moving into. And sweetgrass is used for purifying. Ceremonial tobacco is used by our ancestors, and is still used today. It is used for spiritual healing. It can be given as a gift to honor and welcome guests. And it's also used to bind agreements between people, tribes, and governments. Traditional tobacco is used for sacred purposes and should not be abused. The sacred tobacco plant has been used for over 18,000 years by many tribes. Some tribes today still continue to grow their own traditional tobacco. Each tribe is different, and each tribe has their own beliefs and stories about traditional tobacco. And some tribes don't use tobacco at all. Other tribes use tobacco in other ways besides smoking it. Some will bundle it and leave it as an offering next to a tree or in a creek or a river. Some tribes believe that their ancestors prayed for them using tobacco. These ancestors prayed that their descendants would be healthy, safe, and make good decisions. Today we can honor our ancestors by living the life that they prayed for. They made these prayers with tobacco, and that is one of the reasons why tobacco is held sacred. It connects us to our past, and it connects us to our future. The tobacco smoke is not for us. It doesn't belong to us. Although it was given to us from Mother Nature, we can't hold it in our bodies like air. It has to be let out. It's not natural to hold on to smoke in our lungs the way smokers do. Doing so has consequences, and it usually results in poor health and illness. Commercial tobacco smoke takes a toll on the body, on the lungs, on the teeth, the skin, and the breath. It turns the lungs black, the teeth yellow, turns the skin old, and it turns your breath bad. One of the differences between commercial tobacco and traditional tobacco is that you don't inhale the smoke from traditional tobacco. You only hold the smoke in your mouth, where your prayers are, and then you release it. Now, not every tribe uses it in the same way, or even uses the same kind of tobacco. There are other uses, more practical uses for tobacco too. It can be used as a natural pain reliever, for insect and snake bites, cuts and scrapes, toothaches, headaches, or earaches. It can even be used to ward off pests. When going to gather food or hunt in the old days, it was used as a natural pesticide. The active ingredient to make it a pesticide is nicotine. And in that way, it was used kind of like we use off today, like a bug spray. And the nicotine in tobacco is highly addictive. It can become addictive even after one cigarette. It's as addictive as heroin, cocaine, or amphetamines, and for most people, it's more addictive than alcohol. There's some key differences between commercial tobacco and traditional tobacco. Commercial tobacco has over 600 ingredients added to it. Some of these ingredients or chemicals are formaldehyde, which is used in embalming, strychnine, which is used in rat poison, or ammonia, which is used in some cleaning products. Now, why do you think tobacco companies add all these chemicals into tobacco? Well, they do it to make it easier to smoke and to make it easier for nicotine to get absorbed into the blood system. Ultimately, their goal is to get more people addicted so they can sell them more cigarettes. From these 600 ingredients, burning a cigarette creates over 7,000 chemicals. 69 of these chemicals are known to cause cancer. And another note about nicotine, once it is inhaled, it is so powerful it reaches the brain in about 6 seconds. Now, traditional tobacco, on the other hand, is grown naturally, is never bought, and there's never any chemicals added to it. It's not known to cause cancer because you're not using it in the same way as commercial tobacco. You're not abusing it. It's only used for prayer and at certain times. It's used by adults only. There's protocols for preparing, sharing, and using it. And like I said before, it's never inhaled. The legal age to smoke is 21 years old. If a person doesn't try smoking before the age of 18, they more than likely will never smoke. Until you're about 25, the brain is still developing, making you more vulnerable to nicotine addiction. Now, there may come a time when you have to make a choice to either smoke or not. If you only remember one thing from this presentation today, please remember that deciding to try a cigarette might be a decision you will make for the rest of your life. If you try it once, you might keep making the decision over and over again. Because once you start, it is extremely hard to quit. Some of the negative effects of commercial tobacco. Increased chance of asthma, but more importantly, using tobacco stunts the growth of your lungs. People that smoke tobacco, generally at an early age, don't have the lung capacity as some of their friends do. And that's important if you want to be an athlete. You might not be able to run as far or jump as high or do as much physical activity. Smoking cigarettes gives way to secondhand and third-hand smoke. Secondhand smoke is the smoke given off by the burning end of cigarettes, cigars, or pipes, along with the smoke that is exhaled from the smoker. Now, third-hand smoke is smoke residue that is left over on surfaces like clothing, furniture, and walls. It can be absorbed by the skin. So whenever you light up, you're not only hurting yourself, secondhand smoke kills and hurts the people around you. Some of the negative effects of secondhand smoke include ear infection, asthma attacks, breathing problems like coughing, sneezing, shortness of breath, other illnesses like bronchitis and pneumonia, and for newborn infants, sudden infant death syndrome, otherwise known as SIDS. Okay, on to vaping. So here we have some examples of common vapes. We got tanks and mods, rechargeable e-cigarettes like your Juul, and you get your disposable e-cigarettes. They're usually one-time use and are commonly found next to the register at convenience stores. Vaping or juuling is often promoted as a healthy or safer alternative to smoking. It is not. The water vapor or vape contains potentially harmful and harmful substances such as nicotine, heavy metals such as nickel, tin, and lead, and the aerosol that it makes. Users inhale and exhale from e-cigarettes, expose both themselves and bystanders to these harmful substances. The heavy metals come from the heating elements inside the vapes. Whenever vape juice interacts with a hot metal, sometimes that hot metal leaves small particles inside the vape. Then people inhale it and exhale it. It gets into the lungs. And whenever they exhale it, it can get into other people's lungs whenever they breathe it in. There's still a lot of research being done on vape. But some new research that just came out has to do with its effect on the bacteria in the mouth. You can think of the bacteria in your mouth as a good neighborhood. If you have a healthy brush, floss, you have healthy bacteria. It doesn't cause any illnesses. It doesn't do anything. Bad bacteria cause stinky breath, gum disease, gives you cavities, can also create other problems long term, like heart disease and diseases, inflammation diseases. Now, vaping turns out will stress out the good bacteria. And when good bacteria get stressed out, as a defense, they create slime. Now, after repeated use, after time and time again, the slime builds up and it doesn't allow new good bacteria to stick around. The new bacteria ends up going away, but the slime allows bad bacteria to take its place. So, in effect, slime turns a good neighborhood into a bad neighborhood, and it takes about 3 to 12 months. And the bad bacteria will lead to, like I said, gum disease, cavities, bad breath. It's not very pleasant. It turns your teeth a different color. You'll have a gross mouth, and who wants a gross mouth? That's all I have for you today. Thank you for sticking around. If you have any questions, you can get a hold of me at the Southern Plains Tribal Health Board. Have a good day. Thank you.